All right, this time it's actually doing something. What the fuck? I had a really good intro, guys. Sorry. I'm not going to redo it. I hit the live button. It didn't take for some reason. I don't know. But trust me, it was a damn good one. And only two of us will ever know about it.
Right.
I was mentioning the fact that I actually watched WWE Raw and NXT this week, as well as the first half of the Super Bowl. I got to the point where I don't know, I think I was more interested. I just felt like eating really bad. And what better reason than the football game being on? So for the first time since 2012, I actually watched NFL football. And I really thought the game was over at halftime. I thought the Eagles were just stepping on the gas and going to just run away in the third quarter with it. I was going to keep watching, but then Rihanna got out there and started grabbing her pussy and grabbing her ass. And I'm like, no, I'm done.
I heard about. Yeah, I didn't watch it. I just couldn't. I had no desire to watch the Super Bowl. But then I had people tell me the next day about that. I'm like, I'm so glad I missed all of it.
And here's the funny part of it. I'm no Rihanna fan. I know a couple of her songs, but couldn't give two shits less. But it was a combination of things that it was, some of it was kind of cool, and I could see what they were doing, where they had all these different stages floating at different heights and stuff like that, kind of going up and down and things of that nature. Everyone on her dance team looked like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. They had these hazmat suits on, though all whites, which, you know, coming off of COVID, that's a pleasant look.
Right.
And there's one part in particular where the camera's going straight through the line of side-by-side dancers, and each team of dancers kind of peels apart just before the camera hits them. So it's like parting the waves, and then all of a sudden the last two peel away, and there she is in this all-red outfit. Doesn't look too demonic. Not too demonic. And that's when she's grabbing her ass. I mean, she's pulling a wedgie out. I mean, that finger's up the crack. Then she turns around and does the same to the pussy. And I'm like, they canceled Janet Jackson for how long over that?
Right.
That malfunction. And they were going to get away from anything like that. Next thing you know, they were putting like Neil Diamond at halftime and Barry Manilow at halftime, because we can't have anything like that happen again. What happened with that plan? When did that all change? When did all of a sudden grabbing your pussy become okay? But if Donald Trump does it, oh, no, we can't have that.
Well, you can't grab somebody else's, but you can grab your own.
See, that's a double standard. I disagree. I think if you're going to stand in front of the entire nation, pregnant, by the way, grabbing your shit, don't be pissed off somebody else comes along and does it.
Right.
Mom used to tell me all the time, if you don't take care of your toys, don't expect someone else to.
Nice.
It's a fact.
Uh-huh.
She actually said that shit. Andrew Roberts, welcome
What's
aboard,
up?
my friend. By the way, thank you to you guys that checked out the stream earlier today. I've had a long week at work, and I can't get out on time no matter what this week. I actually thought I set it up for 6 o'clock, so I got home for like 10 after, figuring, okay, I'll crash the party late. And then I get there, and it's already done. I was like, oh, that's right, it was 5 o'clock today. I think, oh, well, either way, I wasn't going to be able to make that one happen. Oh, I still haven't got my freaking horn yet, but there's a clown in the house. I want to get my little squeezy horn. There you go. For now, that'll have to do, clown.
Yeah.
I'm working on getting a horn. Believe me, I am. Oh, boy. So anyway, there were actually a couple of things about each program that I actually wanted to talk about. I don't know if I can remember them now because I didn't write them down because I'm that stupid. But as I look through this list of things, none of it's really triggering much. So Cody Rhodes does his inner promo with Sami Zayn. I liked it for what it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. It was an interesting tell of a story and the challenge of Sami Zayn to finish his story, and then Cody will finish his at WrestleMania, but he'd rather see him there. And as much as it seems highly I always say that you only have a good pay-per-view match if you're not sure who's going to win. I'm 90% sure who's going to win, but there is a 10%. What?
I was just going to say that my belief is that there's going to be some sort of shenanigans, and there's going to be a disqualification, and that's going to set up for both of them to face him at WrestleMania. But that's just my impression of it. That's where I would go with it.
Well, that's what they did with Daniel Bryan, and saw how that turned out. I still think the idea of splitting the titles up is the best way to go, but it doesn't seem like they're interested in that, which doesn't make sense.
Well, the only thing I can think of is if they don't split the titles, being whoever gets it, I think even if they do a triple threat at WrestleMania or whatever, it'll still be Cody going over, and I think they'll just create one single title, a heavyweight belt.
They can't.
And it'll float between both shows.
No, I don't see that happening.
I do, because I think Cody would be the one to appear on both shows. Unlike Roman, who wants
long distance.
part-time.
I mean, Cody maybe, but then who? You know what I'm saying? Most of these guys, and they have two separate groups touring and doing house shows, and I don't see that happening. I think they actually really need to split the titles up.
Well, I do too, but I don't think they're going to yet.
Yeah,
I think because
what better time than now? I mean, here's your two main events: Cody Rhodes on night 2, Sami Zayn on night 1, or vice versa. It really don't matter. Bottom line is, those are two legitimate main events that people want to see.
Right.
And then you take the titles off of Roman, which we all know he's got to be losing them this time around anyway. They're in Germania, but they're not gonna. They're gonna screw the pooch. I just know they are. Clown, thank you, by the way, for that. Yeah, some people were asking, like, during the Impact stuff that I've been doing for the last several months now, who the commentator was supposed to be, and then other people figured out who it was supposed to be. Matter of fact, ironically, the last stream I did prior to Lanny passing, I even put a Genius jab in there during their banter back and forth. It's like, you don't have to be a genius to figure that one out, do you?
Right.
So I even threw that in there, and that was the last stream, prior to his passing. So, yeah, I thought that would have been a great fit for Impact to have him as a color commentator.
Yeah. I think he would have. If they would have actually had him, I think that would have been. I think he'd have done really well with it.
And this is back when I was trying to figure out what voice can I do for this show, because I'm trying to get them to have their own identities on each show. And I can't do a Matthew Rewald to save my life. I mean, it would be terrible. And then I was thinking about Poffo. I was watching one of his shoot interviews, and I'm like, why isn't he doing anything? How come with that voice of his, how come he's not commentating? Oh, well, he is now.
Right.
I'll fix this. Keith O'Toole, what's happening, buddy? Yep, Jarrett just passed away yesterday. 80 years old, I believe.
Yes.
So, we never like to see these guys pass on, but at least at 80 years old, he's lived a full life, and the average life expectancy nowadays is 78 years old for men, which I think that's going to drop drastically under this administration. Didn't think I wasn't going to get a shot in there, did you? Yeah, we got fucking balloons crashing all over the place. We got, here in Florida alone, we got two factories burned down today.
Really?
Yeah, really. And that's not counting a chemical spill at Disney World.
Well, you heard about the chemical train that spilled here in Ohio.
Yes. That's what I'm saying, man. There's a lot of shit. Now, how many... For those of you who don't know, there's a lot of food plants that have mysteriously been burning down over the last several months.
Yeah.
There's one that produces the eggs that you get to the store. Well, that thing burned down, so now eggs go through the roof in price. Mm-hmm. There was a cattle processing plant that went out, so there goes beef prices. It's just real kind of interesting how things are starting to happen nowadays. And for anyone who voted for Biden, you own this shit, all of it. All right, moving away from that subject because I'll get in a rabbit hole and never climb out. Lashley and Lesnar had their... does anyone care about these two guys facing each other again?
No, not really.
Yeah, he'd been there, done that, and it wasn't that good to begin with.
And that's the thing. If it had been, I think I like when you do the 2 out of 3 type deals.
Yeah.
But it's got to be 2 wrestlers that you're invested in. And I haven't seen any. I mean, there'd be guys in Impact that I'd love to see do that again.
Well, and at the same time, when I think of that, the first thing I think of course, is Josh Bailey and Mike Bailey and Josh Alexander. But at the same time, I don't want to see it again because I find it hard to believe you could do it as good.
Yeah.
And then you're just going to kind of, oh man, it wasn't as good as the last one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Steamboat and Flair, that was a anomaly. The fact that they could have those 3 matches be so different and still be as good as they were. Even HBK and Undertaker at Mania 25 and 26. 25 was just still for me, that might still be the all-time greatest WrestleMania match.
Right.
And 26 wasn't bad by any stretch and would be that good if we didn't see 25. But it didn't maintain that level. It's hard.
Right. Yeah. I mean, honestly, probably Briscoes and FTR, their 3 matches, those stand out for me. But again, you're not going to find 2 tag teams that's going to mesh like they did to pull it off anytime soon.
Nope, not at all. Clown mentions that many food plants have been destroyed lately, and that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. So, some shit going on in the world today, people. Steamboat and Savage had great matches. Yeah, but those were all choreographed. That's why I don't look at them in the same light. Savage literally, walked him through in advance. Right. Each step along the way made him memorize it like a script. Mm-hmm. Now, did it look phenomenal? Yeah, it did. Of course it did. I mean, WrestleMania 3 was the epitome of the all-time greatest match in WrestleMania history until 25 came around. It took them that many years to top that match. But it does take a little something off of it for me, knowing that it was choreographed that much. Let's see. Asuka attacked everybody in the 6-woman tag team match. I'll have to take their word for it because that was a fast forward for me. Most of it was.
I like the new Asuka. I'm glad they switched her to the Kana gimmick.
They should have changed the name too.
I know.
Right now, it's just Asuka with paint on.
I know, and unfortunately, it's like if they would have changed her name, unless you saw her matches over in Japan, you wouldn't understand.
But who cares? Who cares?
I know.
I mean, let's remember the first time Finn Balor became the Demon. Most people didn't know about that shit either. But holy shit, what a friggin' sight it was.
Right.
I remember because I didn't watch him in ROH or anything. I wasn't watching ROH back then. So when he did that shit on NXT, I was like, what the fuck is this? And she could do that too. Here's the thing. She's still just Asuka with paint on. Her entrance is the same. She doesn't do anything different. She has the stupid mask. She has
her music's different.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess she got new music, but your entrance is pretty much the same damn thing. There's no lighting changes. She doesn't have like a Fiend kind of element to her entrance with a dark lighting or.
I'm looking for the positives here, man. I mean,
I'm here to bring you back to earth, buddy. That's what I do. It's Asuka doing Asuka with face paint on. Change the character, all right? Bray Wyatt did not stay Husky Harris when you put a fucking mask on him. On the fly work is impressive, and I agree wholeheartedly. I guarantee you, Mike Bailey and Josh Alexander did not script an hour-long match.
Right.
Apparently someone here won the national lottery. This time over, it's special because apparently this is the world's biggest jackpot.
Well, if it wasn't me, it doesn't matter.
Well, you're not in Italy, so it wasn't you. And it's probably Purist's way of telling us it's him, but without saying it. Because you know what'll happen. Then we're all going to want to hit him up for money and shit. Purist, I'm just saying, you know.
Better. Stick his ass in purgatory.
Are they throwing a pizza party? I really wish I had my sound effect machine going tonight. That was a good one. Let's see. Bianca Belair basically squashed the promo between Bayley and redhead there. What's her name?
Becky.
Becky, thank you. Couldn't get the other B word out. And turned around and came up with some screwy idea of, hey, I'll tell you what, let's make it a 3-way and I'll be in it. It's like, you're the champion. What rationale would you have for being involved in a match that doesn't matter what you do with it, win, lose, or draw, you gain nothing from it?
Well, yeah, it keeps them from being one step closer to facing her at WrestleMania.
Well, she wants to face the best of the best, she said.
And she did, and she beat him.
Yes, I don't know. I thought the storyline to create the match, I thought was the hokeyest thing of all time. I thought it was the stupidest logic ever. And then to have her win was even more absurd, because what I did like was that if Becky or Bayley won, and they could have pinned one another, so she doesn't have to be involved in it, champion doesn't have to lose any face, then you start the Elimination Chamber as a triple threat. I said, that hasn't happened.
Yeah, I actually like that.
Yeah, and they fucked it up.
I wish I could. And after they said that, I'm like, oh, I got to figure out a way to do this in 2K.
This is what they do. They take a good idea and they piss on it. Oh, shit. Look what I got.
Oh, he's got him some Pitch Black.
It is good shit.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not a soda fan. For a Super Bowl, I said, well, if they have some, I'm going to get it. And they had a 12-pack. That was the last one, by the way. So I don't know if it's like a seasonal thing from the pay-per-view and it's done, or if it's going to be an ongoing product.
Yeah,
but
Pitch Black.
I love this shit.
I was going to say, Pitch Black has always been one of those that they only release like a couple times a year. Usually it's around Halloween and then like now early spring. It's not one that's around all the time, which sucks because out of all their specialty flavors, it's that and Code Red that I like the best. So
I love this Pitch Black stuff, and I'm not going to get paid or anything for it, but I'll tell you straight up, and I'm not a soda fan, but I'm just, well, wow. It's kind of like a cherry Pepsi almost. I don't know. But it's
yeah, almost. Yep.
It's true. What's true? You won? Bitch? What do I think about Chelsea Green?
Chelsea's being Chelsea. I mean...
Chelsea's the hottest thing on the planet Earth next to the sun.
I like them playing her off of Adam Pearce. I really do, actually.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Chelsea's Chelsea. I won't be thoroughly happy until... Brian and Matt join her over there and put the three of them together.
And that might be, and I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that the other day. I think that's kind of why they're using her the way they are, just to keep her right until they do get there, and then they can put the three of them together and go full steam.
Yeah, maybe her and Pierce just keep going for a few more weeks where she gets pissed off at him not doing what she wants. And so, what, screw it. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to bring a team in and kick your asses.
Right.
And then come in and go after tag team titles and shit like that. I would love anything that brings the three of them together, because we haven't really seen a lot of that, even in Impact.
Right.
It was heading in that direction when he busted out his bicep. But I love me some Chelsea Green. There's no secret there. Erase all that one. And what's this? A medium Dam. You got me on that. I don't know it.
Right.
Datum. I still don't know what that is. Twice the flavor, half the caffeine. What the hell? There's no point in half the caffeine. Otherwise, I wouldn't be drinking it. I'd be drinking water.
Right.
Oh, that's right. They got a pay-per-view coming up, don't they?
Yep.
I did watch up to MJF's promo. I didn't get to see his promo because I had to go to work. And I fast-forwarded most of that to get there as well. Yeah, it's AEW. I just really have a hard time watching anything AEW. Baron Corbin. Holy shit. I just don't get it. I don't get how you can fuck it up that bad. And how many times? NXT. He's a monster. He's a lone wolf. Biker looking dude.
Yep.
What the hell's wrong with that? Then
I was
make
kind
him
of
happy.
And when they split him and JBL up last week,
oh my God, was that
I was kind of hoping that's where they were going to go. He was going to show up this week,
yes,
and be that way and just start whooping everybody's ass. Because I look at it this way: you got Damian Priest in Judgment Day, okay? Baron's the same size and style as Damian. You can either put them together in Judgment Day as a formal tag team, or you can have Baron say, you know what, I'm just going to start beating the shit out of people and start going after. He starts off with Damian Priest. I would pay to see that because I think they would do really well together.
A lot of potential there. After they kick him out from JBL, which, man, that was such a hard stop.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just so, you could tell it was like, fuck it, this ain't working, let's throw it away.
Right.
And it wasn't working. I told you for that from day one, it was the dumbest idea of the wrestling god. Oh my God, come on. But how can you not book him right? You're incompetent if you can't book this guy. He's got to look, not the way you dress him with that fucking porky pie hat.
Right. Yeah.
But he's got to look. He's got size. He still has the best damn finisher in the business for my money.
Oh, yeah.
What the hell?
And he wouldn't have to grow the hair back out and stuff like he had in NXT. Well, right.
That's why he shaved it off.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, if he went back to that leather look and stuff like that, like the cut off and everything, it would still work for him. And they could make him a legitimate badass again.
He had all the springboard opportunity right there, too. It's like, I've been relying on other people, and I know what got me to the dance. I was a lone wolf. I meant to be a lone wolf. I don't need anyone. JBL, stick it up your ass.
Right.
And then come out with the biker gimmick. Put a bandana around that bitch.
And even the promo he cut on Cody and them could have pushed him that way if they would have gave him a little more offense against Cody.
Yeah, that was the other thing too, man. The burial.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just it makes me shake my head. That's all there is to it. When I see somebody with that much talent, this goes way back to when I was coaching. I'd watch I'd go to tournaments and see other teams playing. And I'd see a player and I'd be like, why is that person not the point guard, not on the floor more? Saw this person play in the first game and in the first quarter and a half and was lighting the game up, and next game comes around, this person's on the bench half the damn game. It's like, how do you not see what I see? And it's the same damn thing again here. It's like, this guy is the most shit upon. And then there's been talk in the sheets that, he might be getting cut. I'm like, please let him get cut. Because then he'll go to Impact, and then you'll find out what the fuck he can do.
Exactly.
He'll be fucking world champion, as he should be.
And that's the thing. It's funny because it's like a lot of these guys that they cut ended up going to Impact and
being great.
Yeah, they blew up because they got to be themselves.
Or got to do their own thing, however you want to look at it. I mean, they weren't being forced to wear a stupid porky pie hat. Looks good on you, though. Yeah, the Ziggy Ali. I mean, look, Ali. He's got a paycheck. I mean, he's not going to sell a ticket. He's not going to win a meaningful match, but somebody's got to have that role.
Yeah,
and he's still earning more than me. So what am I to say?
Can't all be a top man.
Nah, can't. Let's skip over to NXT. Opening match, Grayson Waller against Tyler Bate. I did watch some of it. Didn't even realize it was Tyler Bate. Hard for me to remember that this is the kid that opened NXT UK, that opening tournament, and he was like 16 years old looking.
Yeah.
And he's actually looking like a grizzled man already, and he's not that old.
Right.
Which, by the way, what was his mountain team partner?
Mustache Mountain. It was
yeah, right, that guy.
Yeah.
Trent Seven. He got fat. What the hell?
Yeah.
I thought I had too much for Super Bowl Sunday. Damn. He was eating like that every Sunday.
Right.
I almost didn't recognize him when he showed up on AEW.
Oh, that's right. He is on there now.
Yeah, lots of them. That's hard to miss. Anyway, Tyler Bate gets the win over Waller. They gave it an A-. I fast forwarded too much to tell you.
It was decent.
Yeah.
I probably gave it a.
Don't have any care.
Yeah.
JC Jane revels in the pain she inflicted upon Gigi Dolan. I'm not a fan.
I'll tell you this. It's not going to be JC Jane that breaks out from them. It's going to be Gigi.
And I didn't even realize, although I should have. She was in the Independents. Priscilla?
Yes.
That's the girl who took the tampon out?
Yes.
Nasty. That, man, I had watched a couple of her other matches leading up to that one. I just happened to find her on YouTube one day, and I was like, oh, she's a pretty girl. And then I started watching a couple more matches. And then all of a sudden, she pulls that tampon out and sticks it in the girl's face. And I'm like, fuck that. Even if it was a work or a work tampon, I don't care. That is just a level of nasty. And when I just realized that's who she is, I'm like, yeah, no, sorry, I can't. I can't unsee that. Two girls I don't know shit about. Tiffany Stratton against Thea Hale from Chase U. I know she's the bimbo with Chase U.
Yeah.
Neither one does anything for me. They got a grade of a D, so I apparently missed nothing in fast forwarding through that match.
Yeah, because right now Chase U is feuding with Schism, so that should tell you everything you need to know there.
Corbin's Lone Wolf return next week on Raw. Cody gives a promo about Reigns and Zayn match at Elimination when suddenly Baron Corbin attacks him from behind. This time I talk. And I won't be interrupted by anyone. All this time I've been locked down by people nothing about me. Yeah. I mean, they won't, because that would require, investing in the guy that they've already invested so much in. But
yeah,
I want them to move on. And not to AEW, for the love of God. Please go to Impact. It's going to be a much smaller paycheck. I get it. You'll have a friendlier schedule, and you will find out just how good you really are again, because he's probably doubting himself by this point in time.
Oh, yeah.
All right, A-Kid versus Damon Kemp. I'm sorry, Axiom. We're not supposed to know he's A-Kid, even though they keep on saying it.
Right.
Again, stupid. Why put a mask on him? If you're actually going to say he's A-Kid. I mean, A-Kid's a dumbass name. I'd rather keep him as A-Kid without the mask and call him Axiom. Yeah, there's a happy medium to be had there. They just can't find it. Anyway, fast forwarded. They gave it a B, I'm sure. Oh, and then it gets better by the moment. Jinder Mahal. Remember when he was a world champion once upon a time for a hot minute? Is going to go up against Braun Breaker for the NXT Championship. Boy, I tell you what, that'll put asses in the seats.
I will say this. When Jinder Mahal gets more cheers than Braun Breaker, there's something wrong there.
I haven't watched enough NXT. I mean, I don't know. Braun, I like Braun. I like the look. I don't like the name. I think they need to go, and I think when they bring him up to the main roster, they probably will. You go with Rex Steiner. They're already acknowledging his father is Rick Steiner, so Braun Breaker sounds like a stupid fucking name now. Always did. So I think the name isn't going to help much. Braun Breaker's not a name people are really going to give a shit about. Otherwise, I mean, his in-ring work is phenomenal. He's really, I think it's phenomenal. I enjoy watching him do what he does. It reminds me a lot of his father. See a lot of resemblances. I was always a big Rick Steiner fan. I think his promos aren't bad. I mean, he's a kid, he's young, but they're not bad. I've seen a whole lot worse and people getting pushed a whole lot further.
I think what they're trying to set up is him going heel. I mean, because that was something during the whole interaction between Jinder and him. Jinder kept saying the fans are getting tired of you. They're getting tired of what you do and what you say, and you're not. And we want. And he even mentioned, he's like, you're not your dad. You're not your uncle. You're never going to be their level, and I know you're getting tired of it. So I don't know if they're looking to him just to snap, or if they are looking to bring him up, give the belt to Jinder or something. I don't know. I'm not.
Like I said, that'll put asses in the seats. Anyway, nothing could have made me less happy than see Jinder Mahal. North American Championship, Wesley, the champion against Von Wagner. Again, it was a fast forward. It got a C+ rating. Yeah.
I mean, I like Wesley going against the bigger guys because he makes them look smaller? Like. Not really, not right now, but I like it because he reminds me of Ricochet in the fact that if a big guy hits him, he makes it look like they killed him, and I like that. And then the comeback is always really good. I never realized how big Von Wagner's brow was until the backstage interview later. The man looks like a Cro-Magnon, and they need to book him that way.
Could happen. Well, Chula brings up another Baron angle there, saying I'm tired of being second best and all that. The one thing I thought Baron did really well in that promo spot was reminding everyone who was the last guy who beat Roman Reigns. And I'm like, how do you not build off of that?
Uh-huh.
And then he loses to Cody in 5 minutes or less. In street clothes.
Right.
Which, by the way, I'm starting more like Cornette every day. You have 1 week where Pierce comes out and tells a couple of wrestlers who said, we're going to do this right here tonight. And he'll come out there and say, you can't just set up matches. It has to go through the authorities. You can't do that. And in the meantime, Cody, in street clothes, get a referee. Let's go. And drag him out to the damn ring.
Nobody says nothing.
I get it's wrestling. I'm not stupid. But damn it, don't treat me like I am.
Yeah, I thought about that too. I'm like, I at least expected Pierce to say, no, you're not going to do it yet. We'll make it official for next week or something. But he didn't even show up.
No, he didn't involve in it. And here's my point. You could have still had Cody drag him out there and kick his ass in front of the people in the ring.
Right.
Hit him with the crossroad, leave him laying. You could have done all that shit. But it's not a match. There's no ringing the bell and there's no pinfall. For the love of God. I mean, they really don't like him. I don't know if Baron grabbed Stephanie's ass or something or what. But he pissed somebody off.
Oh.
Anyway, Charlie Dempsey against Hank Walker. Don't know either one of them.
I didn't watch that one.
Yeah, I fast forwarded through it. Let's see. It got a C-. We missed nothing. Surprise. And then I guess it was our main event. Roxanne Perez, who is cute as they come.
Yep.
And Miko Satomura, who I don't know.
Yep. She was one of the longest reigning UK women's champions before they shut down.
Oh, she got the long hair?
Yes.
Satomura, is she Japanese?
Yes, she's older. She's probably in her 40s. She
has paint on her face.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, okay. No, I saw fast forwarding it, but now that part just clicked back with me. All right, so those two went up against Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. Casey
again. Good match. I mean, I gave it a B+ because I like
gave it an A.
Well, see, I like the Katana Chance and Kaden Carter together. I think they need to be moved up to the women's division now and take the titles off of Dakota Kai and Io.
And Casey's a tiny little thing, man. I mean, she is like, she can't weigh 100 pounds.
But the tandem tag team moves they do together, oh my God.
Yeah, they're very
They remind me of like the Rockers and stuff. The shit they do.
Yep, I agree with that. XPW in the house. What's happening, buddy?
Oh,
well.
and I know you didn't mention it, but and I hate that this is going to probably happen. But I know they're building up to HBK against Grayson Waller at Stand and Deliver, and I don't think it needs to happen.
I would be amazed if Shawn Michaels is going to wrestle for NXT, but I guess stranger things have happened, huh?
I mean, the only thing I can see coming out of it is if Grayson if they're looking to move Grayson up to the main roster, yes, a win over Shawn Michaels at NXT's WrestleMania would probably do something for him, but I don't think it needs to be Shawn that puts him over.
Time will tell. I'd be a little surprised to see Shawn Michaels wrestling for NXT after being retired and all that, but it's wrestling, man. Anything goes.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was sifting through the closet looking for some stuff the other day and came across some stuff I hadn't seen in years that I actually forgot that I even had. And we'll start with this guy right here. So here we got this is Samoa Joe from TNA.
Yep. Nice.
Complete with the towel. So back when this set first came out, I was a big TNA fan just because it was something different, if nothing else. And looking these guys over right now, I'm like, man, these are still good figures. I mean, they're pretty articulate, especially for the time, but even by today's standards, they measure up pretty well. We got AJ Styles.
Nice. With the hood. Yep.
With the hood and some button back here. I don't know. What does this shit do? Oh, there you go. Rock'em sock'em bullshit. So you got AJ there. I don't have a platform. I'm gonna take some green screen shots, but I never got around to it. And then we got Double J, Jeff Jarrett with the NWA Championship belt. That's how long ago that was. I don't know if this is too well lit now. There might be too much lighting on it to see any detail. One of my favorites at that time. Fallen
Christopher
Angel,
Daniels.
Christopher Daniels. There you go. I never knew anything about him until TNA. This one I think is really, again, for its time especially, a really cool piece here.
Ah, that's nice.
With an actual chain.
Yep.
And he just looks badass as hell. So they did a great job, I think, on this one. Last but not least, someone I recently had a chance to meet and get a photo op done with.
Oh yeah, Chris Sabin with the X Division title.
With the X Division Championship. That actually, I think the title came with Samoa Joe at that time. I think he was the one that actually had it when you bought the figures.
Hey, you swapped it over.
Yeah, I gave it to Sabin because to me, he definitely fit the bill a whole lot better.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I went through some of my stuff a couple of days ago and I found my only loose figure myself.
Who you got there?
Got Chris Benoit.
That's what I was just going to say.
Yep. So,
shirt, jeans, is that jeans or tights?
It's the tights.
Tights, okay.
Yeah, it has the toothless aggression on the side there.
I was just going to say that's the aggression added. Aggression error. You got a few things back there on the shelf hiding out.
Yep.
Welcome aboard.
I forgot I even had him. So
Yeah, well, I mean, I know I had them. I guess I hadn't thought about it in so long because they've been boxed up and put away. But when I saw them, I'm like thinking, where can I put them? But as I showed here on this channel a while back, there, my showcase out there is already full. I got nowhere left to put anything there, especially like 6 of them. And that's another one of those rabbit holes I don't want to get in, because the next thing I'll be is like, well, if I'm going to put them out there, then I might as well bring these guys out.
Yep.
MLW Underground on Reels channel Tuesday nights. I don't know what
What channel is
Reels
that?
channel is. I have no idea. Is that a YouTube channel, I'm going to presume?
I don't know.
Thank you.
Oh, did you hear what the announcement from Tony Khan was regarding ROH?
Yeah, you had to have their pay service to watch the shows.
Yeah, starting March 1st, they're going to have weekly shows on the Honor channel or Honor Club.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not paying for it.
Well, I know. I didn't know if you had heard about it or not.
Yeah, no, I heard. I just paid my annual fee for Impact Plus app, not the YouTube channel, the app.
Right.
Because it had, to me, from what I could tell, it had more programming available on that. The only negative I have on it is it doesn't have any kind of fast forward feature. Every streaming service has that little button you touch and it jumps 10 or 20 seconds forward.
Right.
Not this one. You can drag the slider, but you might be jumping 3 minutes or something like that if you hiccup.
Right.
So, other than that, though, and what I liked about the reason I did it that way, as you might recall, I had the YouTube one based on your recommendation, and it wasn't bad. And for the price, you know, not doing bad.
Right.
But I noticed on the Impact Plus app, they had the entire junior tag team tournament from Japan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they didn't have it on YouTube. And I was like, well, I want to see that because Bay and Austin made it all the way to the finals.
Right.
And I wanted to see some of that. And so $71 for the year.
That's not bad, really.
It's not. And then, like everything you get on the other channel, you get as well. So you'll get the $10 pay-per-views the day after. And I finally got around to watching most of Hard to Kill. I still have to watch a little more. So, yeah. But that's where I spent my wrestling money. So, MLW, not going to happen. Anything else here? G.I. Joes. We all substitute. I was using Spider-Mans, Hulks, and Batmans. And
right.
And they were other people.
Yep. I use my G.I. Joes too, so.
Reels is a satellite program.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have satellite, so I'm definitely out of that one.
Right.
And Impact thought they had a bad TV deal.
Oh,
XP, man, we're wrapping up, buddy. I was just going through the Raw, and I wanted to actually go check out my Impact here. But I want to go over some Raw and NXT stuff. And there was still something. I think Baron Corbin was probably the biggest thing I really wanted to talk about. This frustrated me so bad. But we'll definitely bring you on next time. Never had a G.I. Joe or Star Wars figure. What? Man, I still have the original Kenner Star Wars line. If they weren't opened,
right?
How should they pay for?
Hey, some of them though, I went looking the other day.
Yeah, mine no. And here's the saddest part. This is the part that I still get a little tear. For those of you that don't figure collect or have never figure collected, that don't know what I'm about to talk about. The old wasn't Mattel who put out the original Kenner did Star Wars.
Kenner did, yeah.
The original Kenner 77, 78 Star Wars line had all kinds of stories behind it. They couldn't get it out in time for Christmas. So what they did instead is they sent a pre-arrival package that you would give the kids for Christmas. And it would have a little diorama board, and eventually when they were going to send the figures to you,
Right.
You prepaid for them. Your parents prepaid for the figures. Then you'd have a little thing to set them up on.
Mm-hmm.
So the original was Han Solo, Chewbacca, Luke, Leia, R2, and 3PO. And I think Obi-Wan as well, yeah, was in the original release. And
Right.
Vader, of course. And yes, Stormtrooper, I think, was in the first run. And then shortly after that, they added Jawas and Sand People and stuff like that. But I think it was like 6 or 7 of them in the first run.
Right.
And I bought all that shit. I had birthday money saved up. And I bought all that stuff. Well, with that first run, the lightsabers would kind of be like in the arm, and there's a little lever that you'd push it up, and then the lightsaber would come out. Well, it had... The lightsaber was like, let's say, a bar, okay? And then at the tip of the bar was this tiny, skinny little piece of plastic that went a little further forward. And it was like flimsy as shit, and it looked stupid. And I'm like, that doesn't look like a damn lightsaber, and I cut it off. Well, that was a mistake. If you have the original Kenner line, and if I hadn't cut that damn tip off of the lightsaber end, even loose, that thing would be fetching about $500 right now. As it is, not so much. Yeah.
Well, I when the third movie came out and they originally released Boba Fett, you know, they had where you could launch the missile from his backpack.
And then
I had that. Yeah, I had it. Had the original. And I don't know what happened to it, but it's like worth thousands now, even out of the package.
Yeah, they canceled that thing very quickly because
they did.
The missile and the kid choked on it, so they had to make it so the missile couldn't fire.
Right.
This is why we can't have nice things anymore. Some idiot shoots himself in the mouth.
Here.
Oh man, yeah, but I still have those. I know exactly where those are too. I lost them for a while, so that when I reacquired them, I put them in my old hamster ball. I used to have a hamster for way back in the day, probably the same time.
Right.
Hamster didn't last so long, but the ball's still here. Matter of fact, the hamster's name was Chewy.
Nice.
In part for Chewbacca, but the other part is he chewed his way out of the cage 2 different times.
Damn.
So anyway, some of these things can definitely maintain or even gain in value, but not the way I do it.
But who, when we were kids, I mean, did we really think that we were going to sell these when we got older? I mean,
did we ever think they were going to be worth money when we got older?
No.
I'm pretty sure 10-year-old me would have never opened a box if I would have been told, hey, dude, I know it's crazy. Hold on to them until you're in your 40s, and you'll be able to buy cars with them.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice cars.
I was the same way with Transformers. I had almost every Gen 1 you could think of, but playing with them and smacking them around and everything, they'd break, and I just throw them away, and I didn't even... I'm like, oh my God.
Oh man, good times.
Yeah, things you wish you could tell 10-year-old you again. Don't do it.
See, I always open the boxes too. It's like 99% of the shit I have now. At least if I buy one of the elites or something like that, I keep the box.
Right.
I mean, it's still not going to be the same. They can tell it's been opened, and by opening it, you lose the value. I get that, but it's still good in the box if you're going to try and resell it. But to your point, do I have any intention of reselling any of them? No. Why would I buy it then?
Right. Exactly.
What is this here? Can't see this guy. If they use more than one megaphone. What are we talking about? Oh, Jimmy Hart. There he goes.
Oh, okay.
Was that a loose piece? Or are we talking about like the... We're not talking about the LJN, because that was like molded to his hand, I think. I don't think it was a loose piece. But then they did those other lineups where they had like the Samoans and stuff like that, but those were the posable ones.
Right.
Kind of like big elites before the elites came out.
Yeah.
Now, I'll say this. I opened the boxes. Well, let's see. I would say by the 90s is when collecting was becoming a big thing.
Right.
And I have still an enormous amount of starting lineups.
Okay.
Sports, right?
Yeah.
None of them are open. They're all still in the box. They're all in pretty good shape. Got one or two that are actually worth a couple of dollars at last I checked. And then there was a period of time not too long ago, about a year or so ago, where they were starting to come back around again, where people were collecting them up again. I probably should put some of that stuff on eBay at this point, because it's sitting in the garage doing nothing. And I have no emotional attachment to it whatsoever.
Right.
I got like Dominic Barrasso from the Buffalo Sabres, and he was the hottest goalie in the league. And that was a pretty hot figure to get at the time. I don't know how it's held up over time, but Back in Action.
I ain't heard of that. Is that one we got to find and watch?
I don't know. I've been finding a lot. As a matter of fact, I just bought a Hogan 3-pack, which should probably arrive tomorrow. Oh, the classics. And by the way, thank you everyone who voted, or gave a number, I should say, on the post that I had put up there. I'll let you in on a little secret. Basically, I wanted you guys to pick the next movie that we review. So, currently had 22 DVDs lined up, and you guys ended up, the majority went with number 21. So, I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but coming up in the near future, number 21. Yeah, you know what? I did like seeing Mark Briscoe. I thought he had a good match. You knew he was going to win. The fact that he's still having the tag team title with him, and what he did at the end of the match was, you know, me and my girlfriend been having a lot of conversations about how you can say you have faith.
Right.
But that's words. Your actions determine if you have faith. She's stressing out to the max about work, about paying her bills. Mortgage has just gone up all of a sudden, and she's freaking out. And it's hard for me to sit there and tell her to just relax, because she don't want to hear that. And then I tell her, I used to be just like you. I did. I was the same. This kind of shit would have stressed me to no end. And it's the exact opposite now. I get this incredible feeling of, oh, I can't wait to see where this is going. A friend of ours at work, he's leaving soon. He got a pretty good job promotion, just recently happened. And he's been looking for these opportunities for a while, and he's been getting shot down and shot down. Well, about 2 weeks ago, his car dies, burns up on the way home on the highway. By the time fire department got there was a couple of tires left.
Damn.
And they weren't fully inflated anymore. Apparently there was a recall he didn't know about. Now he does.
Yeah.
So he goes out and he buys, and he's a big boy. He goes out and buys a big old pickup truck. I don't even remember what the hell it was. But he got himself a truck, maybe an Escalade or some shit. I don't know what it was, but it was a big vehicle. I thought it was a rental. He's like, no, I bought this one. And he's like, Bill, I said, when I bought it, I didn't know, how am I going to pay for this thing? How am I going to pay for this thing? And then he gets this job the next day that he didn't even think he was getting. And they told him, you know, give us your number, how much? And he gave him whatever the number is. And they said, like, oh, we can do better than that. And they gave him another $7,000.
Wow. Nice.
Now, there's a difference between believing or saying you believe, and there's another difference in that you just walk with faith, that you just know he's going to take care of it. And I truly believe that those things happen a lot easier when you are walking that way. She might say it with words, but her actions don't back it up.
Yeah.
And there's doubt. And I can understand why there would be. I used to have it myself, but too many things that I have experienced for me not to just relax. And my life has got so much easier. You know, when I was coaching, I spent 4 years at a private school. And probably the best thing that could have happened to me, because I was 16 years prior to that, I was managing a small mom and pop hotel, and me and the owner, we like to drop the F-bomb a lot, just like I do now. But then I get over there, and I guess I'm a bit chameleon sometimes, because I get over there. Well, you probably can't do that in a Christian school, especially with coaching girls. So all of a sudden, I'm, you know, much nicer, and I'm calmer, and I'm not shouting, and big difference from my last environment, right?
Right.
And it got to me. Well, the people working there were legit. These were people who walk the walk. The people running the place were the Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Which is why I will never go to a church. I don't do organized religion because I've just had too much experience with the smoke and mirrors and the money.
Right.
But when I find people that are legit, I like to hang out in their presence as much as I can. And by being around those people for 4 years, 5 days a week, it permeated, and it made a point to me that, and again, the old saying with people that don't get it, it's like, well, God never talked to me. He's talking to you every day. You just don't know how to listen. That's on you.
Right.
That's the part you got to come to grips with. You got to understand that things happen the way they're supposed to for a reason. And that was the biggest thing to give up. Control. If you think you're in control of your life, you're a fool. That doesn't mean, okay, I'm just going to sit in the living room waiting for money to fall on my head. That ain't going to happen either. You got to participate in your own rescue.
Right.
But it's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. The sun rises on his schedule, not ours. When people can release and let that be gone and just accept that that's the way it is, life is... Now I feel like I'm just a leaf on the river, and I'm just going where it goes, man. I have nothing to worry about. It's going to take me where I'm supposed to end up, as opposed to trying to dog paddle back up the damn stream.
And that's the thing too. And you know, I don't think it just applies to Christianity. I think it applies to multiple different religions. You've got to have that faith, and you've got to walk that faith. And if you don't, and you fight it all the time, or you're just providing lip service, you're going to see just how crappy your life can be. But if you have that faith in whatever religion it is that you follow, or whoever you follow, it releases something in you where you can be free, and you feel different. And
I mean, I still get to these points right now where I'm like, really?
Oh, yeah.
I quit my job twice, and I'm still there. I'm like, I want out. And for whatever reason, damn, he's making me sit there. There's something I haven't done, something that hasn't occurred yet that's supposed to occur. I don't know what the heck it is. But I'm like, all right, I'll quit again next week. Keep me around if you want to. And then today they fired my boss, by the way.
Oh, really?
I think I was telling you how they listed his job on their company website while he's still working. Yeah. This is the company I work for, man. They're heartless scumbags. That's all they are. They're absolutely atrocious. The owner of the company literally told me straight up, I don't care about people. I don't care about our clients that pay us. I only care about my money. That was his direct quote to me. I get the fact that every CEO in America probably has that philosophy. They just have the good common sense not to say it. This guy is zero filter. So anyway, my boss and I have been talking about this for a while now, because again, I quit twice, he wouldn't let me. And I told him, yeah, well, you know your job is up on the company website. He's like, are you kidding me? And he looks it up. He goes, well, I guess we know how that's going to go then. And it wasn't through any fault of his own. It's actually the owner's daughter that's fucking everything up. But can't blame her. So let's figure who we're going to fire now because she can't do her job. It's absolutely a pathetic company. Pathetic. And had I read their corporate review, I probably never would have took the job. You cannot find. I could have written every one of them. Every one of them. I was like, yep, that's true. I mean, it is one bad review after another bad review. It is like the most miserable, toxic place in the world. But for whatever reason, the good Lord wants me to stay a little longer. Okay, I'm your Huckleberry. I'm just saying, one of these days, I'm going to send one of them to meet you. Who am I kidding? Nobody in that office is going to meet you.
That's true.
They punched their ticket a long time ago.
They going the other way.
Yeah. Well, like I said, this guy, he got this job to come through, and now he's got everything covered. His car's going to be paid for. Got more money than he asked for. You know, the one guy, when I talk about organized religion, the one exception to the rule for me has always been, and I haven't watched him lately, I probably should again, is Joel Osteen. He's the guy, well, I'd say young guy, because that's back when I started watching him, he was a very young guy, but he's older now. Anyway, I'm going to say young guy out of Texas, always smiling. Got a big-ass smile all the time. Hold on a minute. You'll know him as soon as you see him. If I get a picture to open up, would be nice. Yeah, that's what I have to do, I guess. Him. Anyway, found him one night when I was dealing with some insomnia. I woke up at like 1:30 in the morning. I was like, oh shit. And I'm turning on the channels, flipping through, and here's Larry King. That's how long ago this was, right? And he's interviewing this guy. I didn't know who the hell he was. He's already mid-interview, and this guy just smiling away and smiling away. And after a few minutes, I can put two and two together that he's a televangelist. I'm like, oh, all right, whatever. And they get to a point in the interview that grabbed me because Larry says to him, this is now to people who haven't watched you, when you watch these televangelists, the one thing they all have in common is they'll put up a number for you to donate, send money to. They'll ask for donations. Oral Roberts, we all remember Oral Roberts, man.
Yep.
God says if I don't raise this much money by the end of the year, I'm going to be
calling me home.
Yeah, and then when he didn't raise the money, God gave me an extension. Why do I not like organized religion? I don't know. But anyway, he says they all have that in common, but not you. You never in your program ask for money. Yet you have grown your church immensely. And he just looked at him and said, Larry, people are good in this world. And if you're delivering a message that they believe in, that they can feel is real, they just send us the money. They probably give me more money in donations on their own than if I ask for money.
Yeah.
He says, we have our boxes throughout the church, and we do very well. The other thing I liked about the guy is he takes $0 from the church.
Yep.
He sells books, a lot of them. And people are like, oh, he's living in a mansion. Look at this. He sold books.
Yeah.
If you're a #1 best-selling author and you're making that kind of money, why wouldn't you live in a mansion? He's earned it. He's not taking it out of the coffers.
Right.
Like the one was where I worked. That one was. So I fell into following him and watching his program after that. And just really cool dude. I mean, it was just easy to get along and listen to, and he's not one of those Bible thumpers. That's what I like about the guy. He doesn't do a lot of quoting of, Luke 9:7 says. He will maybe touch on that briefly, but then he goes into this whole what God means by this and what they were trying to do and what he's just really good at what he does. So he was in town one time while I was still at the school and signing books over at Walmart. So I went and got the book, had him sign it. The year before, we had a really bad season in basketball, and we'd had very good seasons. It was the same team. They just turned on me and each other. I don't know what happened. But this one season, we couldn't win any of the games we should have won. And I almost quit. I almost said, you know what? Screw you, little bastard. You don't want to play? Don't play. Get another coach. But I don't quit, so I didn't do that. And then the next year came along, and I realized we have to do something different, and we're going to have the same problem. So I knew I had to make some sort of change to try and reach them differently, and I did. And a lot of it really came into falling more in line with the Word. And it worked. It worked like a charm. There was a movie that was coming out at that time, but not in time for our season, but I managed to get an advanced copy. And it's called Facing the Giants. If you've never seen this movie, you need to watch this movie. It is incredible. It's about a high school football team and generally fictitious, but there's probably some elements of truth pulled from it. Phenomenal movie. And there is a scene in this movie where the football player is tasked with trying to do what they call the death crawl. He's on hands and knees with one of his players on his back. And the coach says, do you think you can carry him to the 50-yard line? He's like, I don't know, maybe to 20 or 30, but he said, I think you get to the 50. And here's this guy, and he's blindfolding him. And he's like, why am I wearing a blindfold? He says, because I don't want you giving up when you can go further. And I thought that was like the most powerful message I'd ever heard, because we set limits for ourselves. And that's exactly what I feel when I listen to her talk sometimes. You are the one putting this set that this is as far as you can go.
Right.
And what's cool about the scene is the whole time he's carrying this guy on his back, the coach is getting more and more into it. Come on, let's go. Keep moving. You're almost there. Keep moving. Keep moving. So we got to be at the 50 by now. Just keep moving. And he finally collapses. And he's take off the blindfold. He made it from one end zone to the other.
Yeah.
But he would have stopped at the 50 if he could have seen it. And just it was a great movie. Really good movie.
Yeah.
So anyway, Joel Osteen, I was subscribed to his daily messages that he'd email. And as we're getting into this next season now and trying to rebound from a bad one, these messages kept on tying into what was going on with us. So like whichever big game was coming up, and it was uncanny how exact they were. And I'd print them out, bring them to practice, and we'd start practice by reading this thing, and everybody was just like, oh, everyone was feeling it. Man, we were cranking, man. We made it to 7 minutes away from going to state Final Four. Which, you know what? It kind of sucks we didn't get to go to state Final Four. But compared to what we did a year earlier, right. I will take it. And it was a run and a season unlike anything. We will never forget that. We will be bonded forever with that. And here's the next year, and he's signing books. So I had put a highlight DVD together of the entire season with his scriptures in there that he called out that would lead into the highlights of that particular game and how it all worked together. So when he signed the book, I give him this DVD, and I said, listen, I know you're real busy, but if you get a chance, I told him in a nutshell what happened and the role he played in it, and got the book signed. I'm walking away. I want to stop and take a quick picture. And he has security with him. I didn't realize at that time, but apparently when you're a religious person of that nature, you have security, because some people out there is pretty whack. And anyway, so this guy come walking up to me. I thought he was going to tell me to put the camera away or something. He's like, he gave me his business card. And he says, Joel wants to meet you and the team after, because he was doing his sermon at the arena. Full house over there in Orlando at the Amway. So he said he wants to meet the team afterwards. I'm like, okay. So yeah, when it was all said and done, give the guy a call. We go down backstage and getting pictures taken with Joel Osteen. It was a cool event, and everybody had a good time, and we had a hell of a season. So, one of many stories, but they're all good. All right, well, we'll wrap this up. Joel Osteen always starts his stuff by telling a joke at the beginning. If you watch him on TV,
Yeah,
he always opens it with a joke, and they're all pretty good. So I'll close this one with a joke in his honor. And I told this to my girlfriend too, by the way, for the same logic. You got to understand when he's talking to you sometimes. But anyway, the floods are coming in, and the water's starting to rise, and this man gets up onto the roof of his house. And the water keeps on rising. Here comes a guy in a small boat driving by. Hey, come on in. I'm going to save you. He said, no. The Lord's going to save me. I got this. All right. And he takes off. The guy keeps on praying. A few minutes later goes by. The water's getting higher and higher. Here comes a helicopter. Hey, I'm going to drop a ladder. Climb on up. No, sir. Lord's going to save me. And he keeps on praying and praying. That water keeps getting higher and higher. Well, next thing you know, the man drowns. Goes to heaven, gets to the pearly gates. Lord, I believed in you. I told people you would save me. Why am I here? And he just looked at me. Son, I sent you a boat and a helicopter. What else did you want?
I knew that's where that was going.
But it's true. That's why it's
It
funny.
is. And that's the thing. It's like everybody expects to see some grand miracle, when 90% of the time it's the mundane things, and you have to recognize them for what they are.
Yep, that's true. Little things mean a lot, folks.
Yeah.
Don't take tomorrow for granted, because there ain't no promises. All right. Well, thank you all for being a part of this. We ran along. What else is new there? For a good reason, though.
Yeah.
This may have reached somebody who needed to hear this. I believe in that. So, until next time, we'll be back with some more WrestleChat. Or who knows, we might be back at the movies again now that I know what we're going to be watching. And it's actually a good pick, by the way, because I haven't seen it yet, and it's one of the ones that I was kind of like, this ought to be corny and interesting or whatever. We'll see. So, I'm actually looking forward to seeing it, expecting very little. But I expected very little out of the last one, and I was surprised. So,
Yep.
if you haven't checked out our last one, just go to the playlist there for At the Movies, and you can see what we did there. What was the name of that one again?
Chokehold.
Choke Slam.
No, choke slam.
Yeah, that's right. I found that at the Dollar General store, so it was worth $1. Definitely worth $1. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of WrestleChat. Say goodnight, Jay.
Good night, Jay.
I got it right this time. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.